Let me ask you something. With all the distractions that you have off the field, how are you able to keep focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year?
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Marketing come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with, that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes, because there's only one thing that counts. Just win.
Yo, welcome to the SC Raiders Talk, aka by Eric, and also welcome to another episode of 241 Nation podcast. Of course, Twuan should be joining us in just a bit, hopefully, right? But of course, salute to everybody coming on in, man. Blessings. Hopefully, everybody had a better week so far this week than last week. Of course, Raiders again lose another game because of missed chances, and we beat ourselves once again. A game that was very winnable at the end of the day. Maybe it wasn't winnable in a lot of people's eyes before the game, but during the game, it was for sure winnable. We just couldn't pull it off. But before we talk about everything, you feel me? Everything from Getsy to everything else, let me shout out who's here so far, man. Like I said, hopefully everybody's having a blessed week. Hopefully better than last week, man. And hopefully, we get that dub this week, but only time will tell. Shout out to Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. What's good? My 2 cents. Salute. Navy Vet. What's good? Good to see you, man. Oscar. Salute, my brother. And shout out to everybody coming on in. Slowly but surely, man. Of course, I didn't even do a Monday live like I'm usually supposed to, because this is just getting out of hand at this point. The Raiders, continuously tricks without treats save the franchise, Eric. I wished I could just hop on Madden and just just make some moves, right? But of course, the Raiders are sticking with everybody continuously. We found out that Alexander Madison is continuing being running back one, which I don't have a problem with. Gardner Mitchell is going to continue to be quarterback one. And again, Luke Getsy will continue to be the play caller. It looks like they're sticking with them. So, yes, it's a whole lot of, dumb, right? But shout out to Cameron Lurker coming on there. Cool, Kev. Salute. But of course, the Raiders, shout out to SoCal Sal in the bit. It was good. They lose this game because of missed opportunities, man. And, to be honest, I thought I would have had a lot to talk about as far as the game itself. Like a lot of people are, I know a lot of people are just, they could go hours and hours about this game. But, in my opinion, right, in my honest opinion, I don't even think hours and hours is going to do this game right? I think it's just one simple thing. And it's just the same problem we've been having all year long across the board, right? Uh, you know, and it's, just to get this out of the way, right? Because this is not an excuse, right? This is not an excuse at all. I'm not giving this team excuses, but the injury bug is a huge thing for it. But that's not an excuse, like I said, bro. I'm not giving this Raiders team an excuse at all or a pass at all. But consistency has been the problem with the Raiders. They haven't been getting it going on offense. The quarterback play is not the greatest, but I will say Gardner Minshew didn't play too bad this game, so I'm not gonna put it even on him. The running game wasn't there. Your second leading rusher was a wide receiver, which is bad, right? and then your number one running back couldn't even get more than 15 yards. So that shows you that the offensive line and the running back play wasn't good at all. And then on top of that, Luke Getsy, man, bro? It's bad when we get an interception and we gotta sit there and just hope we score on defense every single time. Hopefully, we get a fumble recovery back to a touchdown. Hopefully, we get a pick six. Hopefully, we get a punt return, a kick return. That's how bad this is getting and how bad this offense is. The fact that they can't score within 5 yards in 5 plays is insane to me. Very insane to me. And this play calling ain't it. Run, run, run. Like, what are we doing? Trying to force something that wasn't working the whole game? It's bad, man. It's bad. But let me shout out everybody coming on in. SoCal Sal was good. I don't know if I salute you. Shout out to you. My 2 cents. James Furpo was good. Was good. Oh, I need to hold on. I never have this ready. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody coming on in. Shout out to you. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. Shout out to Cool Kev. He says Raiders making any moves before the trade deadline. I would hope so. Right, Cool Kev? I would hope so. I mean, that's literally what I could say is I hope so. it's bad. It's bad that we're even this bad. that like that's what I could say is that this team has so much potential. We keep losing games that is very winnable. Like I said, before all these games, a lot of people may say we're gonna lose. But in my opinion, a lot of these games during the game is winnable. The Chiefs game was winnable. The Rams game was winnable. The Chargers game, even week 1, was winnable. Everything was winnable with this team, and they continue to lose. The Pittsburgh game should have never been that bad. The Carolina game, we should have never lost. It's these simple games that we keep dropping because of our own doing. And we continue to beat ourselves. The Rams game, Gardner Minshew kept throwing interceptions. Fumble recovery for a touchdown, right? Then you have Kansas City. We couldn't score on 5 plays within the 5-yard line. Horrible play calling. Like, then we have Denver that we should have never got blown out of the waters like that either. We came out just sloppy. So it's a continuous process and a consistency. I mean, one thing is consistent that we consistently beat ourselves again and again and again and again. But let me bring on my other half of the 2 for 1 Nation podcast, man. You know, at the end of the day, it's not 1 for 1 Nation, it's 2 for 1 Nation. Of course, the home of the Brown Crackers and the congregation. My brother here, RaiderTwuan in the building. What's good, Twan?
Hey, what's going on? Blessings to everybody, man.
What's good? What's good, man? How you feeling about this game, man? I'm just talking about this Kansas City game, man.
You know what? Actually, I'm actually kind of positive about it. And being really honest with you, I expected it to be a whole lot worse than what it actually was. You know what I'm saying? I was not expecting that we were going to be in a position where we were going to be, you know, only down by a touchdown. You know, and especially with a lot of things going back and looking at the tape and looking at the film, there was a whole lot of things that we did wrong. You know, there was a lot of areas where we messed up. And for us to only be down by a touchdown, like, I think that's what makes it even more frustrating. You know, it is sometimes how many times have we been in close games like that? Or how many times have we been in the game and, you know, it was just that one moment that blew it out of the water. And it's kind of like that. But like I said, there's a lot of things that they did that you can contribute to why we lost the game. But to only be down a touchdown against the Chiefs, like, I think that's what makes it even more frustrating. I kind of rather just got blown out, to be honest with you.
And that's the thing, right? And then I don't know if you listen to obviously I know a lot of you guys listen to press conferences more than me. But I actually got to catch a glimpse of after this, and the things I was hearing was very disappointing. The fact that we don't have an identity still at this point of the season is insane to me. I think it's pretty crazy to say that. Um, Saying that it's okay to keep running the same play over and over again. That's another one. And then on top of that, still, I mean, in my opinion, at the end of the day, I wouldn't totally blame Gardner Minshew for this last game. I think he played all right. I don't think he did horrible at all. I think it was more of the play calling this game. And like I said, the pattern continues, right? We lose a game, play calling. We lose another game, quarterback play. We lose another game, play call. It's like a revolving door with his offense, and it's consistent. And this time it was the 100% the play call. And it's frustrating because it was such a winnable game that it came down to not scoring within 5 yards. And that is horrible. That's how you know you have problems, when you have to rely on your defense to score, because you can't even punch it into the end zone within 5 yards in 5 plays, by the way. Not 4, not 3, not 2, but 5 plays you couldn't get it through. And it kept being run, run, run. Like, the run game wasn't working all game. What type of play call are we trying to force? Like, I just don't get it, man. I just don't
It
get it.
anytime, and this was also what's frustrating, like you said. Anytime you look at the box score and your leading rusher is pretty much getting a yard a carry,
Mm-hmm.
why are you still trying to run the ball?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and crazy enough to say, Minshew actually didn't play that bad at quarterback.
Didn't.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like, oh, we were running the ball because Minshew was just slinking it up.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't. Like, I would like, and that's where, I'm kind of like, oh, I would be okay if this, I would be okay if that. I would have been okay if, Minshew was sneaking it up and all you had was the running game. So you're just trying to, okay, we know Minshew ain't it today, and we know we can't really have the new quarterback go out there, but that wasn't the case. So, I'm not saying that Minshew played a phenomenal game,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, but it wasn't that bad in the past game that they were so hard-headed, and I'm using that word seriously, so hard-headed for the run.
Mm-hmm.
And even further, the styles of runs.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that later or whatever, but the styles of runs that they decided to use in that situation, only one of those plays, I was like, okay, that makes that somewhat kind of makes sense. But the other tries, I what were you thinking?
It was very predictable. A lot of the runs, even I could predict it, right? And at the end of the day, you don't have to be the best of offensive coordinators. You don't even got to know football to just know common sense. And common sense is, when something's not working, don't force it. Don't continue to force it, because it's not gonna keep working. You know the phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, this one, if it's broke, yo, don't try to fix it. I mean, I don't know, the reverse of that. Like, if it's broke, it's gonna stay broke. Like, it's just a matter of the fact that that's how it is in play call. Like, at the end of the day, if something's not working, change it up. If you don't change it up, they're gonna predict it, and that's how it goes. And that's what happened. At the end of the day, we would have won this game. I 100% believe that. Now we have all these Chiefs running around like they're the best. The Chiefs, I don't know if you guys know the Chiefs season so far. The games they have won out of luck, a lot of them, and they're undefeated right now. I mean, it's crazy for me to say luck when the team's undefeated because that's taking credit away from them. At the end of the day, they're a good, solid football team, right? Credit where credit's given. I hate them with all my heart, but at the end of the day, they're a good football team. But if you notice a lot of their wins, it's the same way as this. The opposing team beats themselves. And the Raiders, once again, in their season, their tale of the season, their story of the season, they continue to beat themselves. And that's what sucks the most about this season. It's one thing if we're going out there, giving it our all every game. We win some games, we lost some games, and it's like, damn, okay, this team is actually competitive. But it's just, for me, it's like I'm watching Raiders football, and I'm like, what the heck am I watching? Like, it's bad that it's to that point with this regime. Because we, especially me, I drank the Kool-Aid. At the end of the day, I ain't scared to say it. I don't care, right? You're feeding me all this stuff, right? At the end of the day, I'm a guy. I'm a dude. I'm a human. That, hey, if I hear it off of the horse's mouth, if somebody tells, even in real life, right, in life in general, if somebody tells me something, right, that I trust, and they give me reasons to trust them, I'm going to trust them. As long as it's coming from them directly. I don't want to hear from rumors here, from the horse's mouth themselves, right? And sometimes they're going to lie to us, right? Like this case, right? We got fed culture. Just win, baby. Commitment to excellence. Get back on the winning track. Do things differently than what we've been doing the last couple seasons. And now we're doing the same thing. And that was a lie that it's a hard pill to swallow. For somebody like me that's believed in this team since the start, that's believed in this regime, that's believed in this coaching staff, it just sucks, man. It's like a low blow. Like I got hit in the ribs, and it's like, damn, like, there's nothing else to say. It's just the reality of it. This is not the team that we got fed, and it was a lie. And some may say, some people out there predicted it, whatever. Be happy. Congratulations, you were right. But to be right about that, you got to feel some type of hurtness right there, some type of, madness. Like, damn, I was right. Why the hell was I right? Like some type of madness, because this is not okay.
Not at all. And I ain't gonna go there. Because there is certain things that I would say right now, and it is going to offend some people, and I'm just not. I don't have the energy for it at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll just keep that.
I feel that,
but it's
man.
sad. It's sad.
Yeah. It's a tough season, man. And let me just get to some of the comments real quick. The numbers says, shout out to the numbers. Luke Getsy was on Chicago, so they suck and get the number 1 pick. Raiders are copying that the OC to get number 1 pick. I wish it wasn't like that, bro. But every week it just continues to look in that direction. And I hate to even say it. Once Thayer was at wide receiver, was a wrap. Yeah, they had Thayer Munford at wide receiver. It's pretty crazy. Shout out to Bugsy Raider. What's good, Bugsy Raider? If I wanted to lose on purpose, it might look like the game did. Shout out to Bugsy Raider. Shout out to the numbers. Shout out to Raider Way. Shout out to Billy Davis. Salute to y'all, man. Hope all is well. AP had no worries about Bowers disappearing in his press conference. Adjustments, that's a fact, man. Ritter gonna Ritter in a good way after the bye week. Not saying we go on a streak, but it will be a lot better than Minshew. I hope so, Raider Pete, because at this point, I'm cool with anything, right? Shout out to everybody, man. Oh, hell no. Yankees are winning 3-0. Oh, hell no. Go ahead.
I was hoping for Ritter too, but in seriousness, we couldn't. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I hope that he knows the playbook in his second week. Because anything at quarterback at this point is better than what we have. So
that's a fact. And what sucks the most about this, this game, I mean, just in general, is that we keep being so close to wins. and even the wins that we get blown out, it's still winnable games. And that's the crazy part about it. It's crazy to me to say that a blowout is a winnable game. and it is, right? So it obviously we could go ahead.
No, I know, and that's what it sucks right now,
Mm-hmm.
but that's also the optimistic side of me that says if this offense can get it, we, we can win some games.
We could win some
Not
games for sure.
and not even, and I'm not saying just for this year. I'm talking about for next year. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If we just brought, you know what I'm saying, pretty much brought everybody back and said, okay, we're just gonna run it back with a new two pieces, you know, and go with it, I think we would be fine with the result because I don't care what nobody says. Our defense is keeping us in these games.
Mm-hmm.
And it just happens to be, see, now I got the words. It just happens to be that our head coach, that's his side of the ball. It would be different if we had an offensive coordinator as a head coach and our offense ain't cooking. So that's where I would be optimistic in, maybe not this year, because I think this year, you know, unfortunately is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's a situation where, and a lot of people say it, oh, we got to get rid of everybody. I don't think it's a get rid of everybody situation. And that's just my opinion.
And for me, I was kind of blind in the offseason, blind in the first and second game. I was blind to this, and now I have it in my head because of the games that has happened and the things that have happened. And you kind of what you said kind of brought it up in my own head. The fact that our coach is a defensive minded coach, right? And with that, the number one mistake that we made was bringing in an offensive coordinator that had questions of its own. Right, and let me repeat that one more time for everybody that didn't catch that, right? The biggest problem was, while having a defensive-minded coach, is the fact that we brought in an offensive coordinator that had questions of its own, questions on their own, right? When Luke Getsy came, even I had questions, right? I said, okay, compared to Bo Hardgrave, he has more of a resume on the offensive coordinator, but there's questions. Was it more him? Or was it more the quarterback play in Chicago and the offensive play in Chicago? Or was it more him? Right? And once again, we have that problem again. Right? Every week, a lot of people are debating, oh, it's the players, it's the offensive coordinator, it's the players, the offensive coordinator, the play. Every week, if you notice, it's a pattern. The offensive coordinator cost us one game. The next game, the players cost us one game. The next game, the offense. It's the same thing. The questions still lie with us now. The only difference is now it doesn't involve Chicago. It involves just us. And that's the biggest problem. And when you bring in a head coach of Antonio Pierce, that is a first-year head coach, that doesn't have too much experience under that belt, but has a lot of experience on the defensive side of the ball, you got to bring in guys that are proven and 100% proven with no questions. And we brought in a guy that was questioned. And that's where I was blind. Like I said, I was blind. I was like, hey, Luke Getsy, hey, if he could do what he could do, and he wasn't really the problem in Chicago, the sky's the limit for this offense. You're bringing in people like Brock Bowers. I mean, obviously, in the beginning, we had Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker having one of his best off seasons, one of his best workouts, all that stuff, getting better in his route running, catching ability, deep threat, all those things. We bring in a lot of depth at the offensive line position, and we're like, okay, this could be a change of scheme as well. It's like, oh damn, this offense is very capable of a lot. Now we're seeing something that I was blind. A guy that still has questions to this day. At the end of the day, we could blame the players. I could blame the quarterback play. The quarterback play hasn't been too good throughout the season. Let's just be honest, right? That's just the fact of it. But even the best of offensive coordinators could bring the best out of the worst of players. I mean, we just don't got that.
You know who has it together,
Mm-hmm.
and it's exactly the formula
Mm.
is the Lions. Let
Mm.
and let me break it down for those that I know, Eric, you know it, but
Mm.
look at the Lions.
Mm.
Head coach
Mm-hmm.
is a defensive coach,
Mm-hmm.
but what does he have on the offensive side?
Mm.
An offensive coordinator in Ben Johnson. Oh, who's Ben Johnson? Ben Johnson is a guy that everybody's talking about that should be the next head coach of the of a football team,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when you have a defensive coach like that,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time that defensive coach just allows that offensive coach to do whatever he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Just says, go ahead and score. I'll take care of the defense. We'll make sure that we don't let the other team score that many points.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost like when you have a defensive coach, you almost have to have two head coaches. A head coach on defense and a head coach on offense. And that's exactly how the Lions are built. And that's why the Lions are successful, because Ben Johnson, again, is a guy that everybody's talking about is the next head coach of whatever team, right? We were talking, some of us were talking about bringing Ben Johnson over as a head coach
Mm-hmm.
at one point. And that's how that plays out. So,
Fact.
unfortunately, like you said, the guy that we brought in had question marks. Now, I'll say this, before Kingsbury, that would have worked. It would have been the same formula. It would have been the same formula as the Lions that, AP's the defensive head coach and Kingsbury is taking care of the offense, right? But they should have had something, another person on the own that felt like, or they felt like, hey, I could just let him do whatever.
Mm.
Now, the rumblings of Antonio Pierce is that, people are talking about he needs to get fired. And the reason why he needs to get fired is because of something that's really not his specialty.
Mm.
So that's the Lions is the good example. We're the not so good example.
Facts. Shout out to Up for Review. Shout out to everybody coming on in Circus. Luke Getsy is a football terrorist. I would rather gouge my eyes out than waste another Sunday watching Bowers get 0 targets in the fucking red zone. Yeah, it's crazy. One of our I think our best receiving target this year, right, so far, doesn't get no targets in the red zone. And it doesn't make sense to me. Shout out to Detroit. Shout out to Detroit in the building. Goes to Pulse. Happy pre-Halloween. Happy pre-Halloween, man. He says Getsy AP doesn't need to get fired. Here's the thing, right? It gets me mad that, we're sticking with Luke Getsy, but at the same time, I understand it because we got nobody better. It's to the point where nobody's better. And it sucks that we say that, right? That nobody's better. We would think anybody's better, right? We would put one of you guys on the offensive corner. Y'all probably would do a better job. But there's nothing they could do that I know of, because at the end of the day, I've been looking into it myself for the last couple of weeks. There's really no one that could come in and flip it around, and I could see why they're just sticking with it. They're even sticking with the quarterback, and they're sticking with the same running back. They're sticking with everything. It's just at this point, it's like kind of like what Antonio Pierce said. It's like there's no identity, and they still can't find their identity. They still don't know their identity, and that's a problem. That's a huge problem, and that's where I put the problem on Antonio Pierce. And this is the main thing I'm gonna put on Antonio Pierce as an Antonio Pierce, guy. Like I was one of them that was raving about Antonio Pierce that he should be here, right? The problem that I have with that is the fact that you should not have no identity this far into the season. There's no excuses for it. There's absolutely no excuse. You could say new players, you could say new offensive coordinator, new coaching staff, you could say all that, but this ain't the first 4 weeks. We're past 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 7. I believe we're at what? 8? 8 now or 9? We're at week 9 now, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem that I'm gonna put on Antonio Pierce. And at the end of the day, like I said, I'm an Antonio Pierce guy. Everybody knows this, and I'm gonna repeat that. But even I know, hey, we gotta call out the reality of it. And the reality of it is, it's not okay, man. That is not okay to come out and say that you have no identity still. That's no excuse. That's horrible. That's a bad coach team right there if you have no identity this far into the season. But you know,
but he's not wrong.
I mean, obviously, there's no identity. Yeah,
and the reason why he's not wrong is because what is really working offensively. You know, I think we have to keep saying that. I don't think there's nothing wrong with our defense.
Yeah, nothing wrong with the defense.
I think our defense is playing phenomenal, but the issue is you know, they're getting put in tough situations. You know, situations that are not, you know, conducive to being a top defense in this league. You know what I'm saying? Anytime they're getting short fields and having to, you know, shut that down, that ain't helping anybody. So, you know, I think there is identity, but you only got one, you know, really one side of the ball along with special teams that has that identity. Because the offense is missing on a whole lot of areas. It's sad when the only thing that's really good on our offense is a tight end. Being honest. There's 11 other guys on that. There's 11 other guys on that other side of the ball. And all we're excited about is one guy. A rookie, by the way. So he's telling it like it is.
Yeah.
Even though it sucks.
It's a fact. Let me see. AP exposed himself. He doesn't know how to pivot. It was a violence and ill intent with our offense centered around the run game at the start, but couldn't adapt when it doesn't work. It's fact. We have no quarterback, and no line suck to that. It is what it is. They got to give him the other shot with AP. Terry says, I believe even Scott Turner could be better. Hey, that's interesting. I seen you say something about Philbin too. I mess with Philbin. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, we're just so far into the season that is it really worth it changing right now? Like at this point, like you know, with the games that are remaining and the other teams that are pretty much winning, right? Because there's a lot of, you know, you'll be surprised if you look at the standings in a lot of the AFC. There's a lot of losing teams, a lot of it, and it's pretty surprising. We want to talk about AP. We all want, but the sole purpose who deserves unemployment is Getsy. He has to go on a trust him developing and a quarterback, and that's the thing, right? AP ain't ever taken accountability for hiring Luke. Too much pride. Anyways, the Dodgers losing again tonight. It's already 3-0. It's okay, man. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I don't want to talk about Dodgers right now. I watched the game right now, but hey, I believe in him, man. But
now this is a discussion, and I'm not saying I agree or disagree, but I'm just throwing it out there as a conversation. Do we really believe that it was Antonio Pierce that wanted Getsy? Because when by paper, the hiring firing starts and ends with Telesco. So I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know. You know, I don't know if that was solely a Antonio Pierce or I want Getsy, or was that Telesco saying, "Hey, as the GM," and I wish somebody would ask that question, or if someone could dig that up, because that would, then we could put the blame in its place. Because I think that's another issue in regards to um, some of the reviews that I've been getting, is I think a lot of people are not realizing who's in charge of what.
Mm.
You know,
Mm.
same thing with, like I said, with the issues with the offense,
Mm.
and Antonio Pierce being a defensive coach. Is that really his blame,
Mm.
or is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, who does that really rely on, or who does that really um who's accountable for that?
Mm.
So, what
From Mhm.
any thoughts on that?
uh I mean, to be honest, just going back to the beginning of what you were saying, I kind of think that Tom Telesco had a lot to do with the Getsy hiring. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to remember, we got to go back to the beginning, right? Where they pretty much said, they do their job, I do my job, this job. And at the end of the day, the general manager had a lot to do with what general manager people do, right? Hiring and firing. Now, it begs the question, and like I said, also piggybacking on what you're saying, just to add on a little bit. Um, Another question that I have is, was it to please players? Did some type of player have something to say with the hiring?
Mm,
Now I say that because remember, they told Devontae Adams, "Hey, we gonna have you in the process." They told Max Crosby, the leaders, everybody. It's just a question, you feel me? It's just something I'm throwing out there. I'm not saying it's 100% true, right? I'm not gonna throw this rumor and be like, "Hey, I have sources next door and they work for the Red." Yeah, I'm not doing all that, bro. Let's be honest. A lot of people do that and just, you feel me? Like, like there's no sources, bro. Like at the end of the day, what we're seeing in front of us is a team that has a lot of questions throughout the hirings, throughout the play, throughout the coordinators, and throughout the whole thing. And that's a problem that shouldn't be here at the end of the day. And with the Getsy hiring, like I said, it could be a players thing. It could even be just a general manager thing. Maybe Antonio Pierce did have some say. Maybe he did. But at the end of the day, like I said, even I was blinded to it, right? And like I said, it's hard to go against a lot of chatter, if that makes sense in any case, right? And what I mean is, when you have Antonio Pierce talking about all these things highly in the offseason, when you have Getsy coming out pretty much talking smart, right? In the beginning, people are like, "Oh, damn, he actually knows his stuff." And then the defense corner obviously saying what he want to say, Patrick Graham. And then obviously you go so on and so on. Even the way Tom Telesco talks, you're like, "Oh my God, he's actually saying some correct things." You start to believe in a team that is like, "Oh my God, this team really wants to win now." And now you're halfway through, pretty much halfway through the season, saying you have no identity, sticking with what you got, and not knowing how to win games. That's something that, like I said, and I'll say it before, it's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow, and it's horrible that we're even in this predicament, because aren't we all tired? I mean, aren't we all tired? AP not staying on business. Shout out to all eyes. AP not staying on business was talking big shit now, real tight lips, shaking my head. Getsy is the worst thing that's ever happened to the Raiders. I wouldn't say worst thing. There's been worse, which sucks to say, but I will say it was a horrible thing. Shout out to Solomon in here, man. Shout out to Brandon. Putting Carter Bradley, in my opinion. Shout out to everybody coming on in. True Raider, everybody coming on in. Me telling you, AP hired Luke is straight up. Hey, man. Could be. Like I said, I'm not saying that's not true either, right? That could be true. And other things could be true too. But at the end of the day, there's a huge problem. There's a huge problem. There's an underlining problem with that, right? Um, but I will say this is not out of the picture right here, man. I feel that, man. Big picture thus far, AP had half the season last year, half a season this year, different staff mixed in, and no running back nor defense end two. To start to see this test is complete, no improvement equals bye. And that's the problem, right? Last second half of the season, it looked good. It looked good. And then you go on to this season, it's like it doesn't look good. And like you said, it could be a lot of things, missing the players that we had last year, a lot of dysfunction, new coordinators. It could be all that, but at the end of the day, 9 weeks in, there's no excuse for it, right? Um, we're here to win. At the end of the day, the focal point is winning, and we're here winning. We have to be honest. This Kingsbury was the option. Telesco was working with trash prospects after Kingsbury did us dirty. It's not like he wasn't Telesco's top choice. That is true too. Kingsbury was the number one choice, and then he wanted to go somewhere else, right? I thought AP said it was Telesco, AP, and Champ Kelly who hired Getsy. Could be. I mean, all three of them, right? That's two general manager, well, a general manager assistant, and then obviously the head coach. AP is Archshell 3. Ooh, Archshell 3.0. You guys are very high in believing the Lions OC is going to work for Mark Davis. They should have kept Champ as GM by himself, and we at least would have had a franchise quarterback. What do you think about that? You think if Champ Kelly stayed general manager, there was no Tom Telesco, you think the quarterback would have been something that we would have had?
There was reports out there that said that Champ was actually saying that he was going to go get a quarterback. That same year, Stroud and Bryce Young were out. And I don't know how that went with, the people that were making the hires, but they decided to go in a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I like Champ, but they decided to go with Telesco. And to be honest with you, I think Telesco draft wise, first draft doesn't look too bad.
It doesn't look too bad, to be honest.
We've done a whole lot worse in that area. So there's certain things that I do like Telesco for.
Yeah.
But that's the key component into why I'm trying to figure out who is what, because it's like, okay, if that's on you, dog, then I gotta hold you accountable to that. But because I'm not fully knowing who's doing what, I guess it is what it is. And I keep saying it is what it is because I think that's also how this coaching staff has taken it.
Yeah.
There's really nothing to really, is it really going to make a drastic change if they decided to use the same playbook, but have Philbin or Scott, call out of it? Like, is that going to make things a whole lot better? Is that going to make our quarterback all of a sudden be a better quarterback? Like, I think they're just like, hey, we might as well just stay where we are. You know what I'm saying? Position wise, and we'll revisit everything at the end of the year.
Facts. AP admitted to not knowing. Oh, go ahead.
No, I think that's where the writing has already been put on the wall. I think Getsy already knows that his walking papers are just waiting for him week 18.
When you look at the season moving forward, right? We have the Bengals this week and then a bye week. If you're gonna make any changes, you make it after the Cincinnati game. Now, this is the reason why, right? Right now, they're sticking with Luke Getsy, obviously. Now, that could be because they're sticking Luke Getsy throughout the whole season, or they're sticking Luke Getsy until this game right here. And this could be a make or break game for him, right? I'm hoping it's a make or break game for him. Because at the end of the day, if you're gonna make any changes and any, you feel me? It's like a Hail Mary, right? It's like a Hail Mary, right? You throw it deep downfield and you hope that somebody catches it and you win. It's the last chance to make anything happen. Which I don't know if you guys seen that Jaden Daniels shit from Washington Command. That was pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, when it comes down to it, the last Hail Mary play to make your season survive, at least try to keep your season alive. You do it after the Cincinnati game. You make changes after the Cincinnati game. Because not only if you choose, right? This is hypothetical. If you choose to fire Getsy after the Cincinnati game, you will not only have a week after that of the bye week, then a week after that, a total of a week and about 6 days to have the new person that steps up implement his style. And that's enough time. That's enough time. Not totally enough time, but a good enough time. Better than if you were to do it now, then obviously you have Cincinnati Sunday. Then it's like, okay, it's a shorter time. It's like 6 days. 6 days. That's a short amount of time. But compared to pretty much 2 weeks, that's when you need to pull the trigger on something. And will they do it? I don't know. But if they're gonna do it, they're gonna do it after the Cincinnati game. It's my opinion. That would be my prediction. If anything happens, it would happen after the Cincinnati game for sure. And if nothing happens, then they're just gonna stick with it throughout the season. I'll be surprised if they even do it later on in the season. Now, as far as trades, I know a lot of people I hear out there, they're like, go trade, and I would love to go trade because I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if you guys just seen the Chiefs once again get another good player for a bag of chips in Mayo, pretty much one of their best defensive linemen over there in the Patriots, I believe. And then I seen Deontay Johnson. Also, I think it was Deontay Johnson, the wide receiver, also left on a trade. I believe this past weekend or this past week, pretty much. But I will say, I don't see the Raiders doing any trades. In my opinion, I don't think so. I just don't think. But. Will I say should the Raiders at least make phone calls? Yeah, 100%. Players are leaving for a bag of chips. If you don't pick up the phone or go try to entertain a trade talk with some team's gonna be willing to do it. There's a lot of teams that are actually breaking down themselves, and you could take a really good player that could help your team moving forward. So we could have gotten Devin White for a slice of government cheese. Yeah. Getsy coaches like a Tecmo Bowl, 4 straight run plays and turnover on downs in red zone on one play. But I mean, we'll see. We'll see. How do you feel about? He says trade away Jacoby and Miller. I did see those 2 names in the trade talks. I will trade rumors that could be potential targets. What do you think about that, man?
Who did the Chiefs get?
Let me look it up, bro, because I want to make sure I got it right real quick. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, Uche. Josh Uche from the Patriots. Yeah. They're outside linebacker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I said I don't know why I said their head coach's name. My dumbass. But yeah. Yeah.
I talked about it a week or 2 ago, talking about get rid of Jacoby Myers. Just trying to get something back. Because I don't know if I like Jacoby, but is he really a number 1? And if, offensively, he's probably the only one that has a lot of value. Colton Miller, you're not going to get much from him because he's an aging left tackle that had his days and really hasn't been playing good ball. So I would like try to get something for some of these guys, but part of me wants to say stay put.
I'm keeping everything. I think, in my opinion, I'm keeping everything. I think if you make any trades, it's trading for a player. I don't think you should give up any other players. I think the Devontae Adams thing was enough. There's a lot of young players on the squad, man, including
Mm.
Myers and even Miller. Still is pretty young for an offensive lineman, and you go so on and so on, like Michael Myers, right? Mayers, my bad, and stuff like that. Obviously, these guys are still young, and it's tough for me to really just trade everybody. And at the end of the day, it's just a risk in general. Everything's a risk, right? You trade somebody to another team, that player can end up being the best player some way, somehow, and we'll look dumb and we'll lose the trade, and then we'll go out there and draft somebody that we didn't even want, and then that draftee wouldn't even be good. It's just a lot of risks across the board. So for me personally, I would go out and trade a player if you're gonna trade in general. Do I know who? No. I really, but I will say these players are going and leaving, coming and leaving for a bag of chips. You got to at
But
least entertain something.
but you also have to realize that a lot of these teams that are actually getting guys are teams that are pretty much playoff teams, if not
Yeah, teams that are
almost a
winning.
Super
Yeah,
Bowl team.
it's a
Yeah,
fact.
that's why right now, like you said, the Chiefs seem like they're getting everybody
Mm.
because they're looking at, oh, the Chiefs are, what is it, 6-0, 7-0? What is it? They haven't lost.
And they got
So
DeAndre Hopkins and Uche.
yeah,
Shout to Javier SC. Do you give AP another year? I mean, I can't even tell you that right now. I'm gonna wait till the end of the season, then I'll come back to this question. But as of right now, I don't have an answer, and it sucks that I don't have an answer. It's just the fact that I'm still in the middle. I know people are probably gonna call me crazy, like, "Oh, you think Antonio Pierce even deserves a chance?"
hey, say that again, Eric.
Nah, I can't do that voice again, bro. I can't do that voice. I try
Hey,
sounding. You feel me?
hey, hey, you kind of sound like some people I know. I'm just saying.
Oh well, I was just making that voice. I didn't even
No,
know
no,
people.
no.
So yeah,
Not like that, but just
yeah, yeah, yeah.
some people's takes. It's just like,
I
I
just
to
don't
be
think.
honest with you,
Mhm.
I think we should, because all we have to do, and here I go again,
The Vince
all we
McMahon
have to
impression
do
is
is get a new offensive coordinator. We get a new offensive coordinator that actually knows what he's doing. We're gonna look like a whole different team.
Charles the 3 Day.
Then,
Mhm.
then Antonio Pierce can go in there and do the Raiders and everything else. So I would take another shot at it. Figure out what offensive coordinator actually can come in and get it done and roll with it.
Mhm.
We got a lot of we got a lot of money that we got to bring people back, but we got money, we're gonna have some more picks. you know all the main guys that left, pretty much we're gonna recoup some of those, some third rounds. you know so I would just run it back, not with Getsy, but like I said, get an offensive coordinator and see what it do. I think we all I hope that we're all looking at, when we're evaluating Antonio Pierce, looking at it in the sense of he is a rookie. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to make all the right decisions. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
going to be some question marks, but is he going to learn from that? So yeah, like at this moment, I would say stay put with Antonio Pierce. Of course, there's a whole bunch of weeks to go by, and at the end of the season, we can revisit that question. But at the moment, I would say stay put.
Yes, he was a trade for, and hell no, that was not my favorite quarterback that drafted. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. I was actually right about him. I was actually
Who?
right about him. Anthony Richardson.
Oh,
I don't know if you guys seen what happened recently.
mm,
Once again, you feel me? I was right. Yeah.
that's why you have question marks. Well, you should always have a question mark about a quarterback that really hasn't got a whole bunch of snaps, and that was Anthony, Richardson.
Hmm.
You know, I don't know if he was, I not on top of my head, but I think he was kind of like a one and done.
Hmm.
Came in, got out, didn't stay in college too long.
Hmm.
So maturity.
It's a fact. Uh, you know, at the end of the day, you lost, but I want to get pretty much the preview in. How do you feel about the Cincinnati game, bro?
Cincinnati is definitely going to be an interesting game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's going to be a tough game
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not saying you got to be in a gunfight with Burrow, but you got to have enough to stay in it. Now, like I said last week, our defense is going to come out there and play. I think Jack Jones, was actually tackling last week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, as many people was talking bad about him, um, I think our defense is going to be there, but it's really up to,
Our offense.
and it's not just our offense of players, it's also the play call that's coming
Play
in.
call. Yep. Uh, just to give you guys a little bit injury report leading into Cincinnati. Brock Bowers, full participant. Harrison Bryant, limited. Max Crosby, full participant. Andre James did not participate with an ankle. Jack Jones, Jacoby Myers, and Colton Miller all limited with a knee, ankle, and elbow. Trayvon Merrick, hamstring, full participant. Dylan Parham, foot limited. Robert Spillane, knee, did not participate. And Zamir White, quadricep, limited. And then as far as Cincinnati Bengals, their starting tackle Orlando Brown Jr. Did not participate with his knee fibula. Joe Burrow with his wrist, full participant. T. Higgins with his quadricep did not participate. And Chris Jenkins Jr., thumb, full participant. So there's a little bit of an injury report. For me, as far as this game goes, it's another game that I hope we could win. Every week, right? But these are two teams that have been losing games. We're about the same, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. In about the same in stand. Yeah, they're 3-5, so they have one more win than us and one less loss than us, and we are 2-6. We're playing in Cincinnati, I believe, and on top of that, the Bengals are 0-4 at home, and we're 1-3 away. So there, take what you want to take from that. But
You
there's
say
that.
there is a chance.
So there is a chance. There's always a chance, right? Um, but I will say that whatever team, both of these teams desperately need a win. Desperately need a win right here. And for the Raiders, it's a much needed win for a bye week. And you need to pull off the win. If you don't pull off the win, then you could really say now that the season's pretty much done. I mean, uh, I hate to say it this far into the season, this early into the season, still far into the season, however you look at it. But if we lose this game, you could kiss the season completely goodbye, in my opinion. Because after the bye week, it's not an easy road. You have Miami in Miami, Denver at home, Kansas City in Arrowhead, in Tampa Bay to play the Buccaneers, then play the Falcons, Jacksonville, then at New Orleans Saints, and then home against the Chargers. Tampa Bay is a good team. Atlanta Falcons is a good team. Kansas City is a good team. Denver already beat us. Miami, they got Tua back. New Orleans, they're most likely going to have Derek Carr back at that time. Say what you want to say about them. The Saints looked really good in the beginning, and then obviously started crumbling. It's a tough road. It's a tough road after the bye week, and we need this win. We should have won the last 2 games, in my opinion, but again, we beat ourselves. So, if you want any chance of surviving the season, man, you gotta win against Cincinnati, and then you have to come out the bye with a pretty good mentality. Simple as that. So, it's pretty much it for today. Not much news. Just Gardner Minshew's quarterback 1. Luke Getsy is staying. Alexander Madison still running back 1. That's about the news so far. Yeah. Anything you wanted to say to close off the preview or recap or this team in general?
Like I said, it's going to be on play call, and just hope that we're not hard-headed.
Yeah.
Because I think last week was definitely a hard-headed, hitting your head against the wall type of situation.
Mm-hmm.
So they definitely, if they're trying to win, they definitely have to do that.
Yeah.
100%. And I think maybe, I hate to say it like this, but our offensive line might actually play better this game.
I hope so.
Because if Andre James don't start or don't play, that means JPJ's playing center.
Could look better.
And he actually looked pretty good last week when he did get snaps at center.
Gonna be interesting to see how that goes.
He actually looked better at center than actually what he did at guard. So we'll see what happens.
At the end of the day, just don't beat ourselves, man. This is a 10 a.m. game early. Don't beat yourselves again, man. That's the worst of worst. So, again, I appreciate you guys. You feel me? For me personally, I hope we can get the dub. But, of course, blessings to y'all, man. I appreciate you guys being here. Of course, Twuan, let them know where they can find you. Lives coming up, shorts, videos, all that.
Man, RaiderTwuan on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. Today, I did not do the What You Doing Wednesdays because, to be honest with you, I'm not feeling too well today. And I didn't want to do it without, having the proper energy for it. So I didn't want to cheat you guys in that way. I'd rather not do it at all than to halfway do it. But I think everybody knows. I'll say who it is, and you guys probably know exactly who it is. Is Luke Getsy. So that's who would get it this week. And he's got it a whole bunch of other weeks too. So, but yeah, RaiderTwuan on YouTube. Go ahead and subscribe. I know my name on the screen doesn't say it right, but you guys can definitely get that link in the chat. Go ahead and subscribe. Yep. We are still on our way to 500 subscribers. So definitely, if you have not, come on over and subscribe. It's completely free to do. Remember, you're a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else.
And me, I'm SC Raiders Talk, man, aka boy Eric, man. And of course, for me, I gotta get my stuff together. I need to make some business decisions that's gonna make my channel better. I haven't been the most consistent person, but I will try my hardest after this bye week to do it. And I know I always say this, but with my schedule and everything going on in my life, I need to, you feel me, get it together. Because at the end of the day, this is what I'm passionate about, man. For everybody knows my road. I don't gotta continue being a broken record. This is pretty much what I want to do. So I need to get it together. Stay tuned for YouTube Shorts, man. I'm really going to work on those because I have fun doing those, and I stopped doing it, and I hate it that I stopped doing it, but those are fun. I'm also going to drop videos instead of lives mostly in the next coming weeks because of obviously my schedule. It's easier for me to do videos and edit than it is doing lives. So of course I'm gonna try to do my best there, try to do the best edits for you guys so you guys don't get bored, and not long videos either. I know me, when I go on YouTube and stuff, I don't like watching 50-minute videos. I don't like watching 40-minute. I like the simple, less than 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes videos, quick little thoughts. That's what I hope I could do for the post games. I hope that I could do that moving forward. So of course, I appreciate you guys, man. Blessings. Hey, remember, if you guys have kids out there, man, protect them, because every year in Halloween there's some weird people out there that will do some weird things as far as candy and doing stuff to candies and stuff like that. So hey, if you got kids out there, man, protect them over Halloween. You know how that could get. Also, have a happy Halloween, have a safe Halloween, and hopefully everybody, hey, you feel me, has a fun time on Halloween.
Yeah, it you guys, again, Eric's correct. A lot of stuff you don't even know is on some of this stuff that, some of this candy that your kids might be getting. So what people have been doing, even though it's a little more money, I'm just giving you guys an option. What you guys can do is take the candy, have it in the bag or whatever, and then weigh it out. And then whatever that weight is, then, you go to the store and you buy, that amount of candy for your kid. So at least what this is safe, if you got it from the grocery store yourself. But unfortunately, the times that we're in, you can't really trust your neighbor like that. So that's definitely an option for you guys. I know it might be a little more money that you may be spending, but hey, a couple of more dollars, versus your child being in the hospital or something really worse happening to your child is way more worth it. So that's definitely an option for you guys. But definitely, I'm praying for your children that they have a safe, celebration time with the family. Because again, Halloween is, yes, a time for kids and candy, but it's also a time that you get to walk with your family and spend that time with them. So be safe out there.
And if you're not doing anything during Halloween, hey, I hope you just have a good day, good week, in general. And of course, hopefully we could get that W, man, on Sunday. So guys, we'll be back next week, man. Same time, same place. For me, obviously, I'm gonna get these videos together, man. I'm gonna try to do my best. Now that I'm not really doing lives as post games, I'm gonna try to do videos, man. Some very cool edit videos, clear cut, 4K, everything videos. So hopefully I could bring that to you guys. And of course, man, blessings to you guys and your families. Tough time never lasts, but tell people doing. You guys are also tell people, man. Life is too short, so always tell your loved ones you love them. Have a great week, great Halloween, all that stuff, man. See you guys next week for the both of us. This was the SC Raiders Talk, man. AKO boy Eric and RaiderTwuan, man. You feel me? Home of the congregation and the Brown Crackers, man. I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side, y'all. And like always, I can never get enough of this. Let me, hold on. I never have this on standby. Man, on that note, y'all, we are out. Peace.
Commitment to excellence. There's a commitment to excellence. The greatest players could get the greatest coaches. The great games we played in, the flame that we